You see, one thing that you must understand about mockers is that they are very, very insecure people. Very insecure people. I have never seen an attractive mocker. I have never seen an attractive mocker. And even if it is somebody that could be attractive, the simple fact that they are so negative in trying to speak to or about others in a condescending manner, whatever they would have, they don't have. And I've known of people that other people felt like they were attractive on the surface or whatever, but there's still something that they lack. And the reason why they lack something is because of who they are. They're filthy, dirty character. So they will never look as good as the one that they're mocking. That's what I'm talking about. Because I have seen people that, I'm not going to say they were like dirt ugly, but they were mockers. And I have seen people that were dirt ugly that were mockers. But I feel that beauty, true beauty, starts on the inside and is reflected on the outside. Because who you are on the inside enhances your natural, physical, attractive appearances. People may not believe it, but it's been said for ages, I believe. People don't think that their spirit affects their physical appearance, but it does. Have you ever seen somebody that surface level, they would have been attractive if their character and their spirit had been right? I don't know. It's something about a person's character. When you have a good character, it brightens and enhances their physical features. I'm talking about physically. It's like there's a physical change. They're more attractive when they have a good spirit. It's kind of like somebody who's in the world. When they're in the world, they got a dark appearance to them. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about melanin, even though that might be something that is affected. But it's almost like when they come to Christ, they get more attractive. Because God is beauty. And God himself is beautiful. And I'm saying Father is about beauty. Mockers are people, though, that secretly, I believe they hate themselves. They have a lot of insecurities. So they secure themselves by way of trying to down you. That's how they feel like they are somebody. I know what I'm talking about. There's some people that feel like they are somebody when they are trying to down somebody else that they actually feel inferior to. That's why they say, oh, well, you think you're better than us. Because a lot of times it may not be that you think you're better than them. It may be that you know you're better than them and you're not going to put yourself down so that they can fill up. Who am I talking to out there? And although all men are created equal, not all men and women are the same. You must know who you are to know who they are not, and they are not better than you. And when you're somebody that carries yourself in a dignified manner, your enemies notice things like that. That's why they will attack your character. And the thing about it is, it will be the filthiest, most promiscuous people in the world that attack the characters and the reputations and the names of other people. People that have slept with some of everybody. And that's not a knock to somebody who has had multiple partners, and you turn your life around. I'm talking about people that are mockers. I'm talking about people that have low self-esteem. I'm talking about people that need to go inside and fix something or have something fixed. I'm talking about people that are the bottom of the barrel. But when they come together collectively with their energies, they think they're better than everybody else, when the only thing they're doing is actually binding one another's insecurities together to try to make one another think they're something when they're nothing. They're the type of people that run off of titles and degrees and, the jobs or whatever job positions they have or whatever amount of money they make. But who are they really, individually, apart from all that stuff? When that stuff is shed away, who are they really? Just a weak, withering, low self-esteem, beat down, mentally unstable, psychotic individual. That's what a mocker is. So when you know who somebody is, you can ignore it. And don't allow that negativity to come into your spirit. And the problem that a lot of you have out there, you allow other people's negativity to come into your spirit. When you allow other people's negativity to come into your spirit, you have unknowingly transformed yourself into a sponge. Don't be a sponge in the face of your mockers. You be a brick wall. You let that stuff bounce off of you like water off a duck's back. You have to be resistant. You have to be your own repellent against something that is a pest. Mockers are pests. They're pests. They're like flies. They're like gnats. They don't have lives. All they have sense enough to do is watch you. Find somebody they can swim around, figuratively speaking. Find somebody they can fly around, figuratively speaking. Find somebody that they can try to tear down, verbally or literally. And I said try, because people can't do any more than what you allow. That's why, there's power in the tongue. That's why your enemies speak so much negativity. So not only is there power in their tongue if allowed, but see, there's more power in your own tongue if you allow. The tongue has power. So your power must speak against what they feel is their power. But you will always override them, because can't nobody speak for you but God and you. That's why it's what God says is what goes. What God says is what goes. For even people that have left a world of sin and decided to become a believer and a follower of Jesus Christ, and you've got people from your past still saying, he ain't saved, she ain't saved. I remember when they was at the club doing this. I remember when they was at the hotel doing that. I remember when they was at freak night, whatever you call it. I remember they was at the festival doing this and that. Listen. And guess what? They remember you too. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm talking to somebody. Isn't it always the ones that were filthy and dirty and did more than you could ever do if you even did? But now they want to bring you back into the cesspool and to the sewer with them of sin. Because they hate to let you go, because you changing your life for the better has made them recognize that they have not. I'm talking to somebody out there today. If you are a man out there, you want to settle down, have a wife and kids, and you've got your old friends, your old fake friends trying to pull you back into a life of sin, they're jealous and they're resentful. It's not necessarily that I think they necessarily want your company or want you in their clique. They just resent the fact that you are going to elevate to something having more than what they have. Why? Because you're going to have a gorgeous wife and beautiful kids. They resent that. That's why a lot of times people from past affiliates will come back and try to create trouble and chaos for you. They don't want you to have anything. They don't want you to advance. So they always want to speak evil of you based off of a life that you lived, that was given to you to live any kind of way you want to. Why? Because God gave every human being free will. We could do what we want to do. And then there are a lot of people out there, you are walking around ashamed of your past or how you lived your life. Well, I look at it this way. There's only one you. And when you're living your life and doing your thing, you're still you. And I'm not saying that sin is not anything to be ashamed of from that aspect. But see, that's now we're talking about your association with God, not other people. So I'm not saying you shouldn't feel deep contrition or anything like that. But as it pertains to somebody else, another human being, talking about what you did at the club, perhaps, or if you did drive-bys, or you know what? You don't have to answer to those people for anything, because why were they there? What were they doing out there? Were they just standing there with a pen and paper in hand, observing what you were doing, or were they partakers as well? If even what they say is the truth. Because you got to understand something. When you are advancing in life, people that you knew formerly, they will come back and try to hinder you and tear you down. Many people know that. They don't want you to get ahead of them, when in truth, you were already ahead of them. But why? Because our lives are predestined. So whatever God had for you, he's not going to change his plans just because fake frenemies that you were hanging with at the time are now resurfacing, wanting what's worse for you, what's bad for you. Their wishes upon you does not halt God's hand. That's what I'm talking about. Their mocking of you does not halt God's hand, whoever you are. What God has for you, it is for you. And there's nothing that an enemy can do about it. Because I believe that most people who you were hanging with, who you were hanging out with, going out with, just feeling like the time of your life, they were enemies even then. It's just that you were probably so young that you didn't know anything about classifications and compartmentalization. You identified with them as friends because although maybe perhaps you were not like-minded individuals, but you like doing some of the same things, which seems like a contradiction, but in itself, it really is not. Because perhaps you were still that one that had a good heart, even though you all enjoyed doing some of the same similar things. You get what I'm saying? There was still a difference there. There was still a differentiation there. That's what I mean by that statement. So although you all may have shared in some of the same enjoyments, there was still something about you that's different, because nobody is a carbon copy of anybody else. And if people are coming up against you, that's your proof. That's your verification that you were never one of them. And then a lot of you may say, oh, you know, I never should have been around those people. I never da-da-da-da-da. But how would you know? How would you know that that's trash? You got to smell it to identify it. And oftentimes you can't smell it until you've walked away from it. But let it linger a little while. Let the sun come up and shine on it a little bit. Everything in it gonna rot. Who am I talking to out there? And it is when the rot comes up that you begin to smell it. Because the rot gonna come through the scent of the bag, which in this case could be significant of their flesh, their form, who you see them as. Oh, that's such and such. That's such and such. That's the trash bag. The contents is what's rotted on the inside. It's what's on the inside of the person that is now being seen on the outside, despite the outer appearance, despite the outer shell, despite all that fake grinning and kikiing. And, oh, that's my girl. And, oh, that's my dude. And, oh, yeah, behind all the facades, or behind all the shenanigans, what's on the inside, let it sit out a little while in the sun, meaning the light. Let the heat fall on it. It's going to start to stink and rot. And then next thing you know, here come the flying monkeys. Whereas in the case of a bag of trash, here come the flies. Flying monkeys, flies. Conspirators. Flies. Flying monkeys, flies. Flies to trash. Flying monkeys to trash. So don't worry about no mockers. Because did not Christ accomplish what he had to accomplish despite his? In spite of it all? In spite of his mockers, didn't he get up out of the grave on the third day with all power in his hand? And for those that are in him, it is because of what Jesus did and accomplished on the cross that you can get up out of your situations. It is because of what Jesus did on the cross that you can hold your head high amidst your mockers. Your mockers don't identify you. They don't have no power over you at all that you don't give them. The only crack that a mocker is looking for in you is an insecurity. Don't have any. Don't have any. A lot of people may say, oh, well, how in the world do I not have insecurity? Because ain't nobody perfect. No, ain't nobody perfect, but Jesus is. Who am I talking to? See, Jesus knows how to seal up the cracks. If there was anything that you were criticizing and critiquing about yourself, Jesus knows how to seal that crack up. Why? Because he knows who you are. He knows who he has created you to be. And that little crack of insecurity, that's you warring against yourself. Because even what you're criticizing, it ain't the big thing that you're making it out to be. Perhaps it may be a gift. Perhaps it may be a beauty mark. But you're making a big deal out of, oh, this and that and oh, that. And God formed you and saw that it was good. Wait a minute. God don't make no junk. He don't make no mess, and he don't make no mistakes. Even if it's somebody with a birth defect. What they label as a birth defect. Because maybe their form isn't the typical appearance of a human form, but that's still somebody created in the image of God. And however or whatever way they came into this world, it was by the hand and the will and the might and the power of the Almighty God. They came into this world the way God permitted them to come into this world. And although their flesh house may not be the typical appearance of a human, typical appearance meaning the shape and the form, that has nothing to do with that person's spirit. When we are created in the image of God, we are created in the image of God. And the flesh only has what people call, quote unquote, a birth defect because of Adam's sin, which flipped everything in this world upside down. So that's why people have sicknesses and illnesses and terminal illnesses and mental disorders. All of that is a result of original sin that was committed by Adam. And Jesus Christ came so that we can have eternal life and not have none of that to deal with in the next life. But there are mockers down here that will pinpoint this and pinpoint that, whatever this and that is, if you have anything that you are critiquing and criticizing about yourself. And that's what they will harp on. Because remember I said all the devil is looking for is a little crack of your insecurity. That's what gives them power. Don't give it to them. You got to embrace yourself as a whole entire individual. You got to know that when God created you, he didn't make no mistakes. Even with your talent, your abilities, even for those of you with great singing voices. Your voice isn't supposed to sound like nobody else's. Some people sing softly. Some people sing more powerfully. But regardless, a voice is a voice. And yours is unique. And nobody has your voice. And nobody's supposed to have your voice. We have voice coaches out here. And many people that do sing, you may train your voice either behind a voice coach or other people that you may know of, or you've heard them sing or whatever. You may train your voice behind them, but you are still your own unique individual. You're not supposed to sound like anybody else exactly. You're not supposed to be like anybody else exactly. Even if you are somebody, your voice does not have the range that somebody else's have. It has the range that God intended for you. Wait a minute. Who am I talking? It's kind of like even with preaching, how people have different preaching styles. Some people are more intense and fiery, and other people are more conservative and laid back. Whatever your personality trait is as it pertains to how you present yourselves to your audience, that's you. You're not supposed to be like anybody else. Even if you were influenced by somebody else, ain't nobody on this earth a carbon copy, an exact carbon copy of anybody else, because ain't nobody you but you. So be secure within yourselves. Be secure within your style, whether if it be physical, whether if it be preaching, singing, acting, modeling, teaching, whatever it is, whatever your gifts, be secure in your gifts. And you don't need nobody else's confirmation to project them. God gave them to you. Even if it's your beauty, You have your own unique beauty. Even if it's you being handsome, you are handsome, according to what God gave you. Other people are handsome according to what God gave them. You're not supposed to look like them. You don't have to look like them. You don't have to have their height. You don't have to have their weight. You don't have to be heavy or skinny or short or tall. All you have to do is be you. Close that insecurity if you have it. God made you. He didn't make you them, and he didn't make them you. Who am I talking to out there? You got to embrace yourselves. And in embracing yourselves, you are automatically coming up against a mocker. Because a mocker is somebody that ain't got nothing going on, but opening up their mouths, looking at other people with them teeth showing, grinning, and like kikiing on other people. When what they need to do is stop looking at other people and put a mirror in front of their own face and kiki.